Today is July 26, 26. Okay. Today is the 1 year anniversary of the investigator from 18 showing up. Where we were in Bob Evans before. Okay. And some couples said something stupid. Well, I went off, and then I was really going off when I was talking to the waitress. Went over to Walmart 62, July 26, 25. Okay. Between probably 8 and 10 in the morning. He walks in. I told that couple never to say a word to her again. I interviewed John years ago. He said nothing bad ever happened to him. John, on Thanksgiving of 18, when I asked him what's going on, he told me he didn't know. That Melissa would just have the kids make up something because of the divorce and you're moving out. But don't worry about it. Nobody can say anything bad about you. She'll have her church people make up something too, but nobody can say anything bad about you. So don't worry about it. It's just because of the divorce. He also, June 3rd, 23, electricians pull into town. John was a union rep for the electrical union, had 3 offices, has thousands of contacts. Even taught college. He has thousands of contacts. Told them all that I had never hurt anyone. And that it's just these people. Electricians pull in. Isn't that John's mom? He said she's never hurt anyone. And it's just because of these people. He may never see his mom again. I know, and that's his mom. And he said she's never hurt anyone. June 7th, 25, they announced they had went to Dr. Haven's office. It's still open. The kid's pediatrician from 1984 to 2002. That he had seen him 3 or 4 times a year for 18 years. No abuse, no neglect, and very well taken care of. MD proof nobody was ever harmed. Okay. John, the FBI and police even recorded him asking me to be a reliable name on a court record to babysit his kids after school. I couldn't help him. I was working 2 jobs. He was pleading with me, but Mom, these are my kids. I'll lose them forever. I said, John, I work 2 jobs. I don't get off the first one, let alone the second one. He said, but Mom, these are my kids. I'll lose them forever. And you could hear the pain in his voice. My heart was clenched. I said, John, I'll lose my apartment. He said, Mom, if you're not that reliable name on a court record to pick up the kids from school and babysit them, I'll lose them forever. I said, I'm sorry. I'll lose my apartment. I barely make it now. He lost his kids, moved to Florida, met this new woman, got married. They started a church, had a baby, looks happier than ever. In 18, in front of the cops and feds, they brought in this other guy. They had a lot of imposters in this. People, retired judges, police, other ones impersonating federal agents. Okay? Well, they had a pretend John. They said bring in the other John to get away with it. This guy walks by. He's about 3 or 4 inches taller than John, and he looks very similar and with a full beard. And he put his nose up in the air and walked off. Last year, I was talking to Carl in the car about John moving to Florida years ago. People pull into Katana's June 13, 14, 25. My car's parked. Said if John's been in Florida, who is that riding around with him, asking him to kill her? They said they had somebody impersonate him. They were setting John up for murder. May 24th, 26. We pull into Myers, North Main, North Canton. I look up, I said, Carl, that looks like the guy that was a pretend John. He said, he does look like your son. I said, he's shaved now, but he looks like that guy that had the full beard. We go to walk in, and he's ahead of us with a white girl with black hair. And there's a guy off in the distance. He said, just think the original police were here that worked the case. They told everybody they knew this whole thing was a scam. And it's ridiculous for anybody to ever insult her. She almost died to save children. They were telling people that here. Okay. We walk in, we start walking around the fruit park. Okay. And that guy walks up to me. How did it go years ago? Oh, yeah. I thought, oh my God, it's you. That girl picks up her phone and starts talking to someone. He said, how dumb were they? Bringing the pretend John in to verify it. They knew this whole thing was a scam on her. Oh, they were making fun of her because Agent John stole her money? See, that's where the cartel thinks it's funny. You know I have investigators around me. And my phone's bugged by the police and FBI, and it records if I'm on it or not. FBI informant. Like they said, it's set up, they can hear her anywhere. For the FBI case. Now, I want you to think about this. June 7th, 26, I'm in Walmart, West Husk, and they're talking about John asking me to be a reliable name on a court record to watch his kids. Told everybody no one could say anything bad about me. That I had never hurt anyone. Okay. These people, the cult mentality. You tell a lie and you tell other people. Start talking about that lie as if it was real. And then it becomes true to them. They brainwash each other. Even though it's still a big lie. But they said it enough. It became true to them. Get the idea? Now, see, that's where people have said, well, what would you verify? You were part of a drug beat and rape? We all know they drugged her and told her to say it before. And they were beating and raping her, those drug dealers. What would you verify? You're part of a drug beat and rape? To run a con on somebody? Go to jail for that. See, that's where May 26, 24. I'm in Walmart on the Strip. It's a Sunday morning. I go in, some guy is on the phone. I listen to the recorder line. That agent did talk to her like that. He did admit that he told on her. They better do something about it. Okay? Go to the canned veggie aisle. Officer in uniform shows up. Karen is listening to this today. We all know nobody drugs anybody but the drug cartel. Was a drug cartel in your home before? And we all know that guy told on you before. I want to know how he heard it and he took off after him. There was this guy, Kurt, they talked about, was paying for the harassment. The Stark County Sheriff's laughed at him in May of 21 for just finding out Mel's kids were lying. When they said they were lying on Thanksgiving 18, they called him slow. Since the cops called him slow, he tells everybody to stay out of it. It's not funny. Okay? So we go over in between the groceries and the ladies' clothing. A guy standing in the clothing. They may even still have the tapes there. Guy's on the phone with him. He said, Kurt, none of this is funny. They have the agent over her case admitting to telling on her before he spoke to her. Okay? They also have her whole family tape defending her. And the other one saying they made everything up. Okay? They have these people admitting they drugged her and told her to say it before. Photoshopped everything and made everything up on her. None of this is funny. Everybody stay out of it. Pam walks by with her granddaughter. Uncle Dave said he had someone tape her before. Oh, they'll verify it. We walk outside. Investigators all around me bust out laughing. Took her long enough to admit she was in it with Dave and those stalking tapes, because they're stalking tapes. That's what they're considered as stalking. Like they said, freaking peeking Tom tapes. They're stalking tapes. Her family was already linked to the follower ending. Now she's in it with Dave and the stalking tapes. Her family better never verify anything on those tapes. The police already have them taped defending her, not knowing what was going on. And the other one saying they made everything up. And these people admitted they drugged her and told her to say it before photoshopped everything and made everything up on her. The police would have to arrest him for being in it with Dave, trying to kill her and cover it up the whole time. These people, even into 24, like they said, they got caught buying witnesses. They were offering people tens of millions of dollars to say something bad about her. Endless amount of money from the government. They will extort for you if you say anything bad about her. Now, Melissa's kids. Now, we'll start with Melissa. And the two guys that said they work for the drug lord. You want their attention? You got it. We're walking around Walmart. Okay. Said that Melissa was willing to help us get away with this. She's willing to have the kids lie. You're kidding. No, I talked to her. I told her to say, psh. They start giggling. Well, they want to know what the psh is. They caught her friends with Agent John's girlfriend. Telling the kids to lie. What did the kids get taped on Thanksgiving 18? They wanted the house for Auntie Shaw and Papa. Grandma needed to get out. And what did they say later to Flora? They made everything up. They were games of pretend. Having sick shit. The police in the front of Walmart, now they've already sold the login. It's public knowledge. People are showing up having it. Said, why are they having those kids make that shit up? Oh, they're trying to scare her into giving up the house. That's it. Her whole family is speaking highly of her. Okay. Other ones, Melissa's so stupid she made everything up when you were fishing with Dave. She's actually that stupid. She didn't check where you were. Okay. And Officer Mark, Melissa could go to jail for this. I'd hate to arrest her. Her kids are little. We'll write it up. They were showing off for Dave and his girlfriend. They're documented. Me games of pretend. Okay. I would have never known if Flora wouldn't have stated it. Okay. I'd never know. Okay. Brielle's first party. Now, where they said they'd make up something, call you a bad name. That's all they tell me. Okay? I thought she was in it with the drugger and the wrong nightgown butler. Where an old man showed up the first month of the case in front of the police and feds. For every idle word you tell on us, I'll turn it on you. Try to leave, Dave, I'll list you a child molester. He's like, you know that bruise on your leg? I use sodium pentothal. You know what you said? That ass had me in my sleep. Something about a wrong nightgown, bending over improperly once, accidentally seeing your butt in a life of pain because of it? Then threaten me again. Right in front of the cops and vets. I got to a legally blocked house. Dave debunked it. Stressed modestly, and they only made fun of the back of my knees. He made the whole thing up, but he admitted he worked for Dave. This was their plan, and they were drugging me up and telling me to say lies. More people showed up where he had bruises before throwing up and infected. It was us. We had drugged, beat, and raped you. We had drugged you and told you to say this, that, da, da, da. I used to run in the bathroom and throw up. I thought it was a dirty well water giving me cancer, finding out drug dealers have been playing with me. We photoshopped all our lives. And they erased people out of the room and everything. How is this a big con? Okay? Well, after May 26, 24, I was out in North Canton. I heard a guy outside. He said, I already told that girl, where Pam admitted she was part of it. They have you taped admitting you knew of the tapes before. You better not get caught part of them. You'll end up in jail for a long time. You need to start realizing how not funny this is. That guy Chris they talk about racing out of the room, they said he was one of the main people hurting her. And she doesn't know who he is. And you need to start realizing how not funny this is. Well, apparently they haven't. Brielle's first party, October 23rd, 2019. More at Josh's house. And I said, do you know how mad I was when they said that about wanting the house for Auntie Shaw and Papa? Well, Flora's little. She's like, that's not what they said. They said this. It was, oh my God. Josh went, ooh, that's not true. Don't say it again. Well, of course it's not true. Of course it never happened. We made it up. They were games of pretend. They documented me games of pretend. As a Maslin, please put it. Now, about a month ago, somebody had showed up and they had said, well, Melissa had those drug dealers drug you and tell you to say it before. She didn't, to make sure she got everything in the divorce, and when she went for custody, that you couldn't help John. She didn't want a person like you raising our kids. Some big guy walked up and said, Officer Mark made a big mistake letting Melissa go. Well, I was in Myers, what was it, on Wednesday? Just a few days ago in Alliance. People walk in. Trust me, nobody will ever say a word to you. We all heard those people admitted that Melissa was part of having those people drug you and tell you to say it before. So you couldn't help John with the divorce. His divorce and getting custody of the kids. Because she didn't want a person like you raising her kids. What, a victim? Want raise them to be demons at hell? We go over to Bob Evans. They're in Alliance. There's a guy over in the other section. I can hear him talking real loud. I never want to see or talk to Melissa ever again. He said, I already said that I didn't find it funny when that other guy showed up just a while ago, July 8th, 26th. Walmart and Alliance, they still have it towards the back. They tape an audio in every aisle, saying he made her live through complete horror. He said, I don't think it was funny. He said he made her live through complete horror. Then I was in Myers today around her. And those people admitted Melissa was part of having those people, those drug dealers, drug her and tell her to say it before so she couldn't help John with the divorce and get in custody of the kids. Because she didn't want a person like her raising the kids. And she's the one having drug dealers drug her up and tell her to say stuff and making her live through horror and her run around acting all upset. Oh, he does realize she was working straight with the drug dealers, telling her kids to lie, and she's been conning everybody, right? That ought to infuriate you. Turn her in. She's a big con. Get the idea? She's been scamming everybody with the drug dealers. Nobody went to the hospital. No, there's no police report. There's no treatment for injuries. No pictures of injuries. No prosecution. No physical evidence. Because they're mean jokes. There's nothing but her saying it. And the FBI, 2 agents came in March 23rd, 23. We told these people to stay out of it. She's never hurt anyone. Nobody's ever seen anything. And some lady thought she could make money off of it. That's where they thought it was an easy mark. Some drug dealers ran a con on me. Of drugs and told to say at photoshopping and washing. Mean games and pretend. And they could victimize a victim from drug dealers running a con. Thought it was an easy mark they could rob. They just thought I was an easy mark to victimize a victim. Like the Massillon police told Mount Carmel, Illinois, June 23rd to July 4th of 21, they're documented mean games of pretend she's never hurt anyone. The Massillon police told Mount Carmel, Illinois, documented mean games of pretend and that I had never hurt anyone. You don't get money for pretending and lying. See, that's where last year, July 26, 25, we went down to Magnolia. People were calling for Melissa's arrest. Exploiting our children for profit. She needs to be arrested. They called for arrest out in Alliance a couple years ago, too. They keep selling the case. People look up Thanksgiving of 18. Those kids are actually taped saying they made everything up. January 12th, 22, 4:55 p.m., Officer John stopped men at the door where those kids get taped stating they made everything up. Like those 2 guys that work for the drug lord got a real problem. Nobody actually got hurt. It's just her saying it. It is a big problem, huh? I even went through with Dave that I hadn't been around those kids for more than 5 minutes for a whole year or not alone. And he verified it. Get the idea. All right. Now, in 18 and 19, where they're restating Melissa with the drug dealers and Dave in the big frame. The original drug dealers hated Dave, hated him, called him filthy words. They basically just told on him. Where the other part of the cartel is still telling on these people, the original ones that did it are still, they were telling on him in the beginning. They hated him, how arrogant he was, and who does he think he is? And the drug dealers in front of the police and FBI in 18, beginning of 19, that they had used hypnotic drugs, or not hypnotic drugs, they had used Z drugs, that's how they put it, Z drugs on her, that erases your memory while they're doing it. Well, you look up Z drugs, they're hypnotic drugs, like the break last year. They already told the police and FBI they use Z drugs. She has no memory of what those people did to her before. The Z drugs erase your memory as they're doing it. And that Dave had used them on me somewhere in the house. When they drugged her and told her to say it before, he was in it with Melissa. It was set up that him and Melissa would get everything in the divorce. And so she couldn't help John. They said that. Dave wants us to take her out and kill her. We don't care what he says. Why waste a good woman? We can sell her. They talked about Dave and Melissa being in it together so much. It almost sounded like they were a couple. It was that bad. 18 and 19. Okay? You can ask Officer Mark, Officer John. I told you, Officer John, I found out from the Stark County Sheriff's. His name's not John, he's not an officer, he's a federal agent. Well, I walked into Walmart. They said John's here to take care of Karen. When I looked over, he said something really nice about me. So I thought that was him. Well, the Canton police talked about the officers that worked my case. So I just thought, call him Officer John. He knows they know who I'm talking about. Well, last year when I went to get my marriage license, he, I guess he showed up at the Stark County Courthouse. The sheriffs were talking, some guy she knows is Officer John. He's not an officer. His name's not John. He's a federal agent. And said not to say anything to her. It's a bunch of drug dealers doing this to her. Where Agent John's girlfriend, June 26, Dr. Valley Restaurant, came in. It's my family doing all this for me. She's a prostitute, I found out. They're stealing everything from me because she's a faker. I'm not a faker. The drug dealers we hired to do this to her. Taped her in the bathroom washing herself. Photoshopped that in the other room. To make her look weird with herself. They were making fun of her. He has to pay to do that. And how she's stalking me and watching me in my home. That's not funny. And what? I watch her sleep. You freak. Well, July 5th, 26, I'm at a church with a client. I walk by and that prostitute has made fools out of everyone. I walk by some girls. The mind reader says she's weird inside. I thought you're weird inside. Go sit down. And a guy comes out of nowhere. They won't say a word to her. She had enough courage to walk in here and she's working. And so those girls walked by several minutes later. That guy said we're not to say a word to her like that. Again, some prostitute in a restaurant was laughing how she stole all the money from the case. Starr County sheriffs were talking. That girl laughing in the restaurant, she stole all her money, is that agent's girlfriend. He has to pay today. We thought he was acting that way to get the drug dealers. And when he showed up at that other courthouse trying to get the case thrown out, we actually realized he's with the cartel. It's not an act. I got home, there was a guy outside my car, is bugged by the FBI. Said the drug lord found out that that guy they call Henry Mafia's kid was laughing in a restaurant. She stole all her money. She wasn't to get a dime. That drug lord had her date that agent to get him to open a case. So it'd be thrown out on fraud. So the drug dealers that got arrested could sue for false arrest under fraud for tens of millions of dollars. See, where they were running around, even in 24, you say one bad thing about her, we'll get you endless amount of money. Millions of dollars extorted money from the government. Help us out. You can't get a dime. They're tricking you. April 6, 25, I go over to Danny and John's. Dixie's in there with the girls. Danny's house is real small. She stands up and walks right to the edge of the kitchen. She's not 7-9 feet away from me. Nobody thinks it's funny she married that old man. Some lady investigator said she can extort all kinds of money out of the government from me and Melissa. Jen said we want nothing to do with him. She said, some lady investigator asked me if we knew of the tapes before. We didn't know anything. And we won't have anything to do with them. Asked me if we knew of a tape or weird with herself. Said we didn't know anything to do. We didn't know anything about it. And we won't have anything to do with it. She had giant bruises and was throwing up and almost passing out. And we didn't realize what was happening up there. We do now and won't have anything to do with it. Said, well, that lady investigator said, even though I gave her permission on tape to tape me, of knowing of Melissa's mean games of pretend her kids were telling, and that they were all laughing about. And daybreaking of the gunshot night, even though I gave her permission, I can sue the government for millions of dollars. No, you can't, dumbass. It's like, leave the dumb girl alone. And she's going to extort all kinds of money out of the government for me and Melissa. And John's like, we want nothing to do with it. And she said, Melissa said the group of people they hired to do this to her. Let's break to Dixie. She was part of it. She needs to go to jail. She's dangerous. Said the chief of police up there gives special permission for people to break in people's homes. No, he doesn't. Break in and do things to him. No, we don't. Which, the way they described it made total sense. It's like, leave the dumb girl alone. God help that child for being so stupid. And Melissa said, poor, poor, poor Dave had to sit in the basement and listen to her have wild sex with other men. Walked out. I'm like, what other men? What wild sex? What are you talking about? And then you think of the bruises, the severe infection, almost passing out and throwing up. And then the 3 memories that I thought were nightmare of footsteps looking over and a syringe coming at me in the dark room going dark. Couldn't see, couldn't breathe. All I could hear was my screams and my wails of agony of every part of my body being in pain. And all I could hear is my wails and then nothing. He sat in the basement, and when I woke up, I was still in my bed. I had bruises, I was infected, but I thought it was a dirty well water, and I thought it was a horrible nightmare. I didn't see her talk to anybody. Any other drug cases. Unless I want to say she's part of that. Those drug dealers they hired admitted they sold my grandkids on where she admitted they were taping in the bathroom. Adrian John's girlfriend admitted they were taping in the bathroom. They admitted they sold my grandkids on kiddie porn sites. They sold me on porn sites. Those drug dealers admitted they drugged me and told me to say it before they already incriminated Dave and Melissa and 18 being in it together to make sure they both got everything in the divorce and something about in the house. And that they used C drugs on me that erase your memory while it's happening. It causes sleepwalking with no memory. Melissa wants to think she can be some kind of monster from hell. She needs locked up. She needs locked up from society. She's dangerous. Now people run around. Oh, they're going to get money for what? For her being a mobster? Huh? You don't get money for mean jokes. And documented. I was out with a client October 5th, 21, where they were talking everywhere about that girl's lies. Okay? October 5th, 21, we leave Huntington Bank. They had been talking about it. He's like, who's that crazy Melissa? They all talk about lying everywhere we go. I said the ex-daughter-in-law friends with ex's girlfriend had the kids make up some mean games to pretend on front of the police on Thanksgiving of 18. He's like, is she crazy? I was like, yes. I told you where they threatened that other Michelle that was dating an agent on a Rouge. Got it out of her March 27th, 25. After midnight, he was outside my work talking real loud that he had broke up with her. When she confessed to him, the doctor from before was not one of mine, works for them, and they had lied he was one of my doctors. She actually don't know who he is, and when they bashed in her head, they tried to kill her, leave her incompetent. It didn't work, and he broke up with her. He got it out of Dave that a girlfriend from before me made him marry me so he could get a job at my dad's factory and she'd have free insurance. The woman using my insurance for 15 years. It wasn't random identity theft. It was one of Dave's girlfriends. They were scamming me. And he got it out of that family that was telling everybody it offended him, strange calling her a faker back in 03. He said, why on earth would you say it? It was 6 months after that traffic accident. She had nothing to do with it. When he made it up, they said it didn't even concern him. never offended him. They were in there lying to help him get away with it. It's because that agent's girlfriend, the one that it's her drug debt, that's Katie's family member, a member of their church, so they were all willing to lie to the FBI to help her get the idea of what's going on. Well, let's see. April 16th, 23. My daughter-in-law Jen, her mom had died. They had a memorial service. I walk out to my car, and before I get in, I look over, and Danny and Jen are walking up to Gabe and Shay, my grandson that's grown, and his girlfriend. And they said, he says real loud, I finally went to Dad. Ask him what on earth is going on. He said he had hired some guy named Pete on his own. It was Pete and his men in our home before. Pete has her frame. Pete has her tape, the filthy, dirty statement. Some guy he hired. Not a doctor. Some guy he hired. Well, I didn't know who Pete was till lately. Where January 19th, 26, this weird man in 18, right after the case started, I had an Instagram account. Instant message me, hi, I think you're beautiful. It's like, thanks. Something about love on the beach and something else and something else. I don't know him. Okay. I go out to stores. They're talking about a Henry Moffey, which that was a picture of that Instagram, message. And they're saying they're drug traders and human traffickers from Florida, and they work for Judge Peters. Walk out and you watch them get in their vehicles, and at times I seen a guy that looked similar to him drive with him. I thought, that's weird. What does this have to do with anything? And then people stopped talking about him years ago. So I figured the police got him more flat. Well, January 1926, where these people yelled threats in the stores. I said they need to realize I'm an FBI informant. They can kiss my government-protected government immunity informant ass. They can kiss the Stark County judge's ass that signed it and the FBI's ass. They need to embrace they can't touch me. And I turned on MC Hammer, you can't touch us. I'm dancing around the car with Carl. I didn't know he was listening. Pissed him off. Came in and confessed. Said, and the waitress sat us near a table right behind him. And he's like, I'm the one that got a hold of her online. I thought, you look like that picture from years ago, but a lot thinner. He said, I prove with those messages she's cheating. It's like, that's not cheating. You're a weirdo. I don't know you. He said, I tell all men she's not good enough for another man, and I'm glad I never met her in person. He said her dancing around the car like a little kid with her new husband. The officers only watch her for the case because they feel sorry for her. I thought they liked me, and there's a court order. He said, I'm the one that incited her new husband's family to threaten his life to take his farm. Found out his son was down there vandalizing stuff on the farm. Told him, stay out of it. I'll steal everything for them. He said, I found out the other Michelle is telling on us for what we're actually doing. They can't use it. You just confessed, you dimwit. Where that Michelle dated that other Michelle dated that agent on Rouge, he broke up with him as soon as he got the information he needed. April 17th, 25, she's having a meltdown because she really liked that agent. And she's parking lot. Carl even heard her. Everybody heard her. How when she told them all that. He broke up with her and how much she really liked him. Okay. And then the Texas group up in Fairlawn on April 24th, 25, yell out, you tell that guy Will that was to pull off a scam here to join us. It's all ruined. Because that other Michelle told on him that the doctor from before was not one of hers. Worse for them, and they had lied. He was one of her doctors. And you tell him we said take care of her. And they threatened to kill her. They threatened to capture her, shave her bald, make her work for a servant, and then kill her. And it was bad. Threats everywhere. I did a video last year. And it's like, Michelle, if you need to get to the FBI office, you need to get to the sheriff's office to mention the case, have them get a hold of the FBI. You got information on these people, it's gold. They 90 to 95% of the people in the witness protection program are criminals, and they flip them. They wipe out their whole past and immunity, give them money for the rest of their life, and they take care of them. Get to a police station or an FBI office, make a deal with them. You got information, it's gold. They will kill you, they find you. Okay? May 25th, 25, they were laughing about all this, teenagers in Hollisters, about Bill from the Freemasons big scam of the dirt, some guy going in, drug her up and tell her to say that, photoshopping, washing in the shower, ran a scam off of it, who could steal her money. Well, May 26, 25, Walmart 62, the other part of the cartel, they split. They split. And they threatened Michelle, the other one. Came in and said, we heard they were making fun of Bill from the Freemasons big scam up in Summit Mall of the dirty doctor not being one of hers. Worse for them, and they had lied he was one of her doctors. She doesn't know who he is, and the whole thing's a scam from Bill from the Freemasons. Who does that cartel think they are, having them threaten Michelle? Do they want more? Michelle said she's really nice and said how to take care of herself. She's out of this. It's between us and them. I was scared to death they'd do drive-bys. You know what they did? They went badass. Started telling us everything. Everything they knew. Everything. Even got Agent John's girlfriend to confess September 30th, 25. That this whole thing, that I don't know who she is. And she had my skull bashed in, me raped and tortured because she's in debt to drug dealers. She let people be human trafficked here, and she even helped and even human trafficked people to pay back those drug dealers. That she had Carl's family threaten his life because she wanted the farm for herself. And she already knew everything was photoshopped by the original cartel, and she knew everything was fraud, medical malpractice, and medication errors that made me sick before. And that we were encouraged to sue those doctors for years for almost killing me. She knew all that. Okay? And then December 1st, 25, that Michelle had showed up at another investigator's office that these people confessed November 23rd, 25, of that this whole thing was a scam to extort money from the government. Her ex-husband was involved. This is December 1st, 25, Walmart 62. They still have it. And that the doctor from before was not one of mine, works for them, and they had lied he was one of her doctors. She actually don't know who he is. And the guy Pete running his mouth about her, she doesn't even know who he is. It's just some guy Dave hired on his own. And these people admitted to using hypnotic drugs when they drugged her and told her to say it before. And they photoshopped washing in the shower in the other room to make her look weird with herself, and the whole thing was a scam. So where Henry Moffey said that other Michelle's telling on him for what they're actually doing. Thank you for your confession. And then he said, I got a judge's friend that'll enter all my tapes in court without the FBI while they're busy with Minnesota pull a fast one on the FBI and steal all the case's money for myself and be long gone. I thought over my dead body, I wrote the precedent. Now, we're going to start talking about laws and real laws, and they do matter, and they do count. And that's how stupid and ignorant this prostitute and her dad and their friends are, running cons on people. The right of privacy over your home. President Nixon couldn't even bark in office. It does matter. Police and agencies can only be in a home under a threat of life with statements and a court order. Even the FBI would go to jail. It's a felony invasion of privacy, illegal monitoring, cyber stalking, wiretapping, and it's 5 to 20 years. Try to get money out of sextortion. Without the kiddie porn of my grandkids going party, and without the drugs, beat, raped, and attempted murder, human trafficking. Get the idea. Fourth Amendment, the right of the people to be safe and secure within your own person, your places, your homes, your papers, and effects against all unreasonable searches or seizures shall not be violated. No searches, no seizures without probable cause warranted with an oath or affirmation of the people, places, or things to be searched or seized. So, what did it say? Your home can't be violated. You have to have a court order. And then the police and agents. Think of that. You have the right that no one can harm you. You have a right to privacy in your home, your papers, your things. You have, and that they can't even search it without a court order. You also have the right to remain quiet and a right to an attorney. With those 3 rights, police and agencies can only be in a home under a threat of life with statements. There's nothing else. For the right of the people, United States, to be safe and secure within your own person, your places, your homes, your papers, and effects against all unreasonable searches or seizures shall not be violated. No searches, no seizures, but upon probable cause warranted. That's court order. With the oath or affirmation of people, places, or things to be searched or seized. That's why police and agencies can only be in a home under a threat of life with statements and with a court order. Okay? Now, they didn't have special permission from the police. Dave hired some guy named Pete on his own. But that is where the key is. Who is Pete? Who is the dirty doctor? That's the key. When you find out where that officer showed up, we told you she didn't know what's going on. That guy admitted he never met her in person. Several times people have showed up. That's the doctor from before. And nobody will say a word. Because he admitted he never met you in person. And it's that guy, Pete, they're talking about. Oh. But who's Pete? He's Henry Moffey. Who's Pete? Agent John's girlfriend's dad. For Henry Moffey's kid was laughing in a restaurant. She stole her money. Where the sheriff said is that agent's girlfriend has to pay today, where an investigator called her a prostitute. When you find out who Pete is, it's that agent's girlfriend's dad. And where she laughed, the drug dealers they hired to do this to me, they knew it was drugged and told to say it. And photoshopped her washing in a drug scam. It's a bitch move. And then think of Melissa involving herself in a drug scam. with drug dealers. And these people are so dumb. Okay, I had a dog bite years ago. Talked to a real personal attorney. Not one of these pretend jobs that are run around crackpots. You have, with all injuries that you sue for, you have to prove you were injured. What's wrong with this? You have to go to the hospital. You have to be treated. Nobody got hurt. They're sitting around laughing behind my back. How sick it was. You have to have pictures of the injuries to match up with the treatment. You have to call the police. What's wrong with this? You have to have a police investigation. I had to have a dog warden's investigation too because it was a dog bite. You can't just say you were injured. You have to go to the hospital. You have to have treatment, ongoing treatment. Pictures to match up to it. Police investigation. I had to have a dog warden's investigation. She said it didn't matter if it was a dog bite, car wreck, personal injury. You have to have so much to even open a case. You have to prove you were injured. Have to go to the hospital. Have to be treated. You have to call the police. What's wrong with this? Dog bite? Then you can't just, I had to have the hospital report, the police report, the dog warden's report, pictures of the injuries, just to prove I was injured. Because you can't just say it. You can't just have a witness either. You have to have physical evidence where the dog bit into my arm, latched on to my coat until it got pulled off. I had its DNA on my coat. I couldn't wash my coat till it was settled. What's wrong with this? Like the guy said, Melissa running around hysterical and asking people to help. She's acting like a Chicken Little, like the sky is falling. Why would you fall for such a crackpot job? Common sense in your head. Somebody would have got hurt, the police would have arrested them, and there would have been prosecution. Not just her acting like a crazy whack job. Conning people, how could you fall for a crazy whack job? Nobody got hurt. Nobody went to the hospital. There's no police report. There's no pictures of injuries. There's no treatment, and there's no physical evidence. Why? Because they're mean jokes. March 20th, 26, Walmart West Test by the Electronics. There's an investigator from 18 talking to how he didn't find it one bit funny that since an FBI agent showed up in his office, admitted that family admitted that they were all lying to the FBI, that it offended him when Strange called her a faker. Found out Strange hated the government, that's why he tried it with us. Okay? Well, June 3rd, 26 people, investigators in Magnolia, they found him. Said that Melissa's documented mean jokes. She'd never hurt anyone. Everybody feels bad. He said it was a human traffickers in her home. Those people that were selling everyone was in her home. See what I mean? They're documenting me jokes. Now, see these whack job Christians? They think they can hire drug dealers to drug you up until you say something. Oh, they'll get someone to verify they were part of that drug being rape, and we'll pull a con and steal everything from her. Like they said, what do you verify? You're part of a drug being rape? You can't just drug somebody up and tell them to say something horrible and say somebody to verify. You can't do that. You actually have to have proof a crime happened. There would have been a hospital report, pictures of injuries, police report, police investigation, physical evidence. You can't just say it. You can't just roofie somebody. And they say you'll verify you're part of a roofie or a Z drug. And having somebody harmed, you go to jail for putting your name on it. They told people years ago, you put your name on the tapes before you go to jail for it. I talked to a retired CIA agent. For somebody who retired, she went out and called and we got done talking because about the Texas group, they're all after them. They've killed agents. Okay? I know what I knew. She told me, you better be thankful you didn't know anything about the tapes before. Because those people admitted they taped in the bathroom. Children used it. It's kiddie porn. Everyone that puts their name on the tapes before will go to jail as an accessory, and including child pornography, obtaining and dispensing it, and every crime that happened in that house. Now, I want to talk about HIPAA violations. HIPAA is the right of privacy over your medical records. Your doctor cannot discuss you or your treatment plan without your consent. It is a federal crime. Okay? They can't be in it with your husband. They can't even discuss it. These people are so crazy. They're supposed to have fake medical records. They're laying in front of people. They could never have them. And for every person, if they would have been real, they showed it to, it's 10 years federal prison. It is stealing documents. It is a federal crime of HIPAA and healthcare fraud. Your doctor cannot testify against you. They work only for you. It's another HIPAA violation. They can't tape you unaware because of HIPAA. It is another federal crime of 10 years. These people think that they can make up they made up a scenario of a dirty doctor taping you unaware, confessing of crime, sat on it till Dave wanted a divorce. Like they said, nobody fell for that. It's a federal crime for a doctor to tape you unaware. It's a federal crime for them to be in it with Dave. If someone got harmed and they didn't report it, they could prove it happened, they go to jail as an accessory. See how dumb these people are. And to find out the dirty doctor and that guy Pete is the same guy. It's that Henry Moffey. It's the agent's girlfriend's dad. And like she said, they hired drug dealers. They hired the human traffickers to run a drug scam. These people already confessed in 18 they used Z drugs on me. And I'd have no memory of what those people did. When they drugged me and told me to say it before, they implicated Dave and Melissa to make sure they both got everything in the divorce, and it was set up so she couldn't help John. I'm going to upload this.